Here to discuss, presidential historian Doug Wead. Good morning, Doug.
Hey, hi, Ed. How are you doing?
When you hear that letter, especially in President Clinton's own words, it really is quite moving to think about the approach that President Bush had.
Absolutely. He was forgiving. He was not weak. People make that mistake sometimes because he was so kind. Just ask Manuel Noriega how weak he is. He could be quite tough, make very tough decisions, but he was kind. And he usually had, Ed, a stalking horse. John Sununu was a very tough and effective chief of staff. But before him, he had Craig Fuller, he had Pete Teeley, he had Jennifer Fitzgerald. In the family, he had George W. Bush. So he always relied on a stalking horse, somebody tough that would take the lead, and he could come in and be kind and heal the wounds and make things work.
In fact, we have John Sununu coming up in a few moments. We'll get his reflections. We've got Bill Bennett coming up. We've got a lot of people who have a lot of wonderful stories to tell. But I wonder, when you think about all of this, connected to now, you have President Trump's critics constantly on his back, and we could talk about what he needs to do to set a better tone. But what about Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, who now have a responsibility to govern? Will they take Bush 41's approach and actually try to work with this president, or is it just going to be more resist?
Yeah, you make a good point, Ed. I think it's exaggerated, some of the attacks on Donald Trump, because a lot of this is just politics, the way politics is. It's true that George H.W. Bush's personality could be so disarming and so kind, but politics was tough back then, just as tough today. Remember Lee Atwater. Remember the Willie Horton campaign.
Sure.
That's how George H.W. Bush was elected. He hated bullies, Ed, and there was an attack on Craig Fuller when Kuwait hired him as a consultant, and he came in the Oval Office, and the news media was saying, oh, the Kuwaitis wasted $1 million on Craig Fuller. And I heard that Craig Fuller brought in the story of a little boy in Kuwait that was machine gunned to death for passing out leaflets opposing Saddam Hussein's invasion. When I heard that, Ed, I thought, we're going to war, because George H.W. Bush does not like bullies, and Craig Fuller earned every dollar he got paid.
You're right. An important point for us to underscore. President Bush talked about a kinder, gentler nation, but he had a spine of steel. Doug Wead, we appreciate you coming in with your reflections. Good point to make.
Thanks, Ed.